Hi everyone, now just a quick video, well saying quick, I'll tie a couple of flies as well, but basically I had quite a few questions about this box of flies, about the beads and about the colours and lots of things, but one of the main questions was if I had to pick two, what ones would I use. To be honest with you, I would probably more like pick the materials I'm going to use rather than anything the colours and such like, but mainly there's obviously certain styles work. I mean, as you can see there's a lot in that box, but the times when I change the colour bead is to suit the sort of conditions, whether it be fluorescent orange, even white. Mainly the fluorescent orange is for like coloured water. Black fly is good again, white bead, fussy fish, lots of reasons why I would maybe change the colour. I would take the colour away, I would have black up here, these ones. I mean, there's lots of reasons, but mainly if you're fishing these flies, they drop into where the fish are lying and they just grab them half the time. They get fussy, reduce the size, reduce the weight, depending on the water I'm fishing as well. There's lots of wee reasons, but when it comes to the actual patterns or so, it's mainly down to the sort of materials. But to pick, say, if I was to pick anything, it would be the materials. Pheasant tail and the type of natural fur. This is just rabbit with a wee bit of UV in it. It could be the squirrel dub, it could be hare's ear, it could be, well, I like to put CDC in my dubbing and stuff like that. There's lots of wee things you can do. Wee highlights, you can have a bit of fluorescence. There's all these type of things. I mean, you can't go wrong with natural fibre. That's the one thing. One of the other questions, and what I got asked a lot, was the colour of bead. Now, the most cropped, I mean, I would say probably the most popular, at one time it was gold. It was just gold, that's all we could buy at one time. Now we get every colour under the sun. I would probably say silver, copper, gold would probably be the three. A favourite, pink, is getting. I mean, I was quite amazed how well. I mean, you can see I've got some pheasant tails dyed with a light pink. Pink works extremely well, especially for grayling, but it works for brown trout, which I found out in my local river, the River Doon, which is just based, it doesn't have grayling, but it has wild brown trout, and they like the pink bead. So I mean, you've got to be able to, the advantage of obviously tying your own flies is you can have beads. I mean, when things are hard going, you always mess about. So anyway, a wee quick tie, I'll just tie a couple of flies, just quite quick like. Favourite size was another one, I've probably used this size more than anything, size 16. In this case, in this hook anyway, 16s, 14s are good sizes. Hook choice is up to yourself really. This is a barbless, a jig hook, very popular now. 18s, I'm using both this time, mainly to represent natural flies, though I'll fish bigger ones in heavy water and so on. But a lot of people will increase the bead size. Even on a hook this, they'll go, on this one it's, this is a 2.8, the size in the 2.4 is the smaller, and I would go with 3.2 in the bigger one, so I'm using the different weights. But you can put 3.2 on that, but I feel it starts to sort of mask the distance between the eye and it starts to clog that up. Just a personal thing, it's up to yourself. Sometimes you get away with that if you're using bigger beads. Sometimes I'll use the curve hook, which will take it away. It'll give you a bigger gape, or you just use it. There is a shorter, wider gape one that full mill do. I don't know if I've got any lying around here to show you. No, I don't have it. I don't think anyway. I did have some lying. Oh, there we are. This is if you want it, put a bigger bead sometimes on. I'll show you the hook. This is this one here. It's basically called the short. It's got a wider gape, So if you put a bigger bead on, sometimes better to sort of get a hook with a wider gape. You can see that. So much wider. It's much the same size, shank length, but it's just got a much wider gape. So that's what you could do. So there's lots of things you can mess around with. Two favourite sizes in there with these hooks is 16s and 18s because it is a bigger hook. So I go usually 18 and 16s. So that was a 16 I actually held beside that there. So anyway, what I'm going to do is quickly, as I say, tie a couple of flies. Just the basic one. We use a fire orange thread, which is a good aiming point. This is a great colour combination with the copper bead. So I'm just going to ping the waste away, come down. I'm going to use a fiery ginger coq de leon fibre, but you could use just a normal cock hackle fibre, a brown, natural brown or so. Tail length, it's really up to yourself. I like to see it, so probably body length at least. Turn on top, go quickly underneath and pull towards the eye. Just lift and flare the tail. Just a couple of turns there. Trim. Now you can have a wee tag at the back if you want of the thread. I'm going to use a small copper wire. What I'm going to do first is I'm just going to quickly run up. Just tidy things, it makes it easier. There's a wee tag, say, of the thread. The natural pheasant tail is a kind of bedyed, as long as it's a kind of natural fibre, it doesn't matter what colour it is really. Most times it works. So we come over with a loose turn, pull it into the tips. Just run it up. I mean, you want these flies to be quick. You don't want to be flies that take a long time to tie only to lose them, because you do lose a lot of these flies. And you'll practically take it all the way up. And then, because I'm winding the pheasant tail towards myself, which is the opposite way of winding the thread. And because I do that, I've got to take a turn over the pheasant tail and a turn on the hook to lock it in. That just stops it. The main reason for doing that is I'm winding my rib the same way I wind my thread. It's always going to be stronger. So, and at the same time, when you wind your rib up through, it's cross-ribbing the pheasant tail fibre, and it will never pull out. So, we secure that in. I usually just fold the wire back, and then I can just ping it off, break it off. See how things are sitting. Now you can use bead-wise either a slotted bead or a standard bead, it still works. I'm happy to use either. Now you can highlight the wee bit at the back. I'm going to use a really bright, in this case, tactical SF dub it's called, fluorescent orange. Orange works a treat, you don't need much. Now you can put this on before or after. Now I usually put this on before, but you can, it doesn't matter, I mean it just depends how you feel. Mess about with it. Just a wee hot spot at the back, a wee bit of dubbing in the front. I used to blend all my dubbing, I still do, blend all my dubbings basically to get the different flashes and such in them. But you can buy some of them now, and this is another one from Fully Mill. This is the Euro Nymph flash. It's a light hare's ear and UV. You can see the gold and a wee bit of UV in it. Now I've actually, believe it or not, while I was tying a few CDC flies recently. I blended in there was actually some light cinnamon CDC. Now the waste I've blended into this, I don't even see it. But the odd CDC fibre there. So don't throw your waste away. I could put a wee bit of leg on this and gives a bit of movement. So kind of lightly dubbing on so that the dubbing kind of springs out. Then you get to this area here. You'll never get a beautiful looking fly with a big bead at the end, so don't worry about it too much. Now to whip finish, I usually run the varnish along the thread about 1 inch along. You want to wind that varnish onto the varnish thread onto the hook, and then whip finish then. Because there'll be a wee pool of varnish in there which will obviously lock in your whip finish. Now there's a fly that you'll be able to catch fish anywhere I would say anywhere in the world you'll catch on that, whether it has a bead on it or not. You could put a hackle on it, you could put a sort of small ginger hen hackle, or even a CDC, which I like. I think I've got one there. There's one with a brown CDC feather in it. It's the same fly really, but with the CDC fly on it. But normally this is fine, that'll do the job. So anyway, that'd be the best sort of copper one, I would say, definitely. Now I'm going to tie it just to show you now. There's a famous fly called the snipe in purple. It's a soft hackle. Now this is in a smaller hook. This is the size 18, same hook I used there, but this is a smaller size. Smaller bead, it's a silver one in this case, it's a 2.4. Now I'm going to be using purple thread. So it's basically I can't call it a snipe in purple, I'm going to call it it's a Euro Nymph version, if you want to call it. So basically what I've got is my dubbin. This is a mixer rabbit, which has, if you know what a snipe hackle looks like, it's got a nice light tanny black, you can see that in the guard hair in there. I've got a wee bit of UV, which is a kind of purpley blue, if you want to call it, which suits the snipey purple colour. Obviously I've got the purple thread, which makes it as well. So if you take a favourite fly, which this is, especially if it's a wet fly, so start at the head area. Now I could use the waist piece as a rib, if you're going to dub the body, or you can use the thread. I might just use the thread because in the original snipe in purple is just a purple body with a thread. Now I'll put a tail in this. Now I've got another again coq de Leon fibre, but this is a light coloured, it's called a medium Pardo. Now the coq de Leon feathers are from whiting, so the fiery ginger on the first fly, this one, as I said, the medium Pardo. And I use the saddles are really good. Tail length, much the same, it can be as long or as short as you like. Or you could leave it off if you want, it's up to yourself. Now what I'm going to actually do, I'm going to rub this with a silver wire. So I'm going to keep the body purple thread, but I'm going to run it up. Just tidy things, come back down. So there's my purple body, so you're going to see it. Rub the body with the silver wire. Secure it in. Again, I'm just going to pull it back. This is just a small silver wire. So ping that off. Get my dubbin. Now again, I think I've actually got some CDC fibre in there as well. I've just, because I've been tying some dries, and I don't throw away anything. Mix it into a favourite dubbin of your own. It always improves it. It'll always give you an extra something. Now I'm just going to lightly dub it on. As you can see, they build it up to a good reasonable wee thorax. When you're happy, you can take away the excess. Bring your thread to the front. Now it's a wee bit tight, but what I'll do is I'll velcro that out. So what I'm going to do is run my thread, or run the varnish along my thread. And I'm going to put it on, build the thread up a wee bit to get the colour, wind through over the varnish, or the varnish thread anyway, trim that away. And then I'm just going to use my velcro to lightly grab some of the fibre, pluck out some of the material just to get the movement I want, and there we go. I can roll that back, you get a lovely bit of movement, bit of fibre sitting back like a wee hackle. And there we are, quickly, two patterns quickly tied with some of the materials that you'll not go far wrong with. The colour of threads, materials, fur, natural fur, dyed or whatever, bit of flash. And you'll catch fish all year, all season with these type of flies. Depending, if you want to fish these nymphs, fly like that especially, or even at both. Quite happy to fish off the bend of a dry, just cover certain types of water, or if you're going to fish the Euro Nymph style, then it's a good combination. So anyway, there you are folks. I hope that answered one or two of your questions, and simply until next time.